Sorry I'm late. What were you doing? Just a really important long-term project I've been working on. Well, you're just in time to present your poem. Great! Free time. I used to have all the time in the world. I would dance and sing, paint and write. I would lay in a field of clover for an hour, under the blue sky, staring up, just because. But then I got busy. Life happens, they say. And now I work and fill things out, study and take very important tests. What little time is left to me, I just want to use to rest. And now, literally, I have all the time in the world, but somehow, I never seem to have the time for things I really want to do. Man, I feel that one. Especially the part about just wanting to collapse in what little free time we have. Yeah, and that in turn makes you feel more stressed and tired later. Unfortunately, kiddos, that doesn't get better as you get older. How comforting. I think it's really important to get the most value possible out of your free time. As we get older, it seems sillier and sillier to do things like laying in a field of clover looking up at the sky. But that sort of thing turns out to be really important to your mental health. What does it mean at the end that she literally has all the time in the world now? Usually Monica is pretty precise about things like the word literally. I see. Well, go on. I really appreciate the thing you do where you capitalize certain words in a phrase to make it seem really important or pretentious. I need to remember to steal this for my own poems later. I feel like it's a thing that would sound good in my poems. Only because so many different things sound good in your poems, Sayori.
Like Natsuki said, it's a super relatable poem. I especially liked how the old things you used to do with your time are like dumb childhood things, and how they seem kind of childish and silly. Or now they seem kind of childish, but then it turns out that they're really valuable after all. And all the adult stuff we're supposed to care about seems just so draining by comparison. It gets across that message really well. Thanks, MC. So, is this the point in the club where you guys would normally take off and do whatever secret stuff you're going to do? Masita, look, it's not like we're trying to exclude you. I don't know what Monica said about us exactly, but I assure you that we are up to nothing dangerous or wrong. That's just stuff we want to do on our own. Yes, I understand that. That's how you see it. Monica told me. But, and this is the main problem I'm having with your reassurances, is that they're coming from people who lied to me about the existence of a problem in the first place. Now, maybe there's a good reason for that, and maybe there isn't. You all are normally very trustworthy, good, honest students, so I'd normally presume there is a good reason. It may be that you were entirely justified in deceiving me to keep whatever secret this is. But I'd like to hear that from the students who still have more credibility with me about this issue. And that's MC and Natsuki, who never hid the truth from me. What of it, guys? I'm not really sure what you want us to say, or what kind of information you're looking for.
Well, I trust you guys more because you didn't try to lie to me about this. The others are saying that they lied for good reason about it, and also that I can't just be told the truth now for whatever reason. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Are they telling me the truth? Is it something they'd have good reason to lie about? Is it something I should not be told about even now? Yes. The others were totally right to lie to you. And you shouldn't push this any further. But you understand why I'm concerned, right? If something so horrible has happened, isn't it natural that I'd be curious and want to take care of my students?
Yeah, it is. But I agree with Natsuki that that's just something you should suppress. The others really did have very good reason to hide it from you. Mostly to keep you safe.
So I keep hearing.
Honestly, the others do mean well. I probably would have done the same thing as them. If I were any good at lying, that is.
So now what? I'm just meant to ignore all this and pretend it doesn't happen. There isn't some weird mystery that has clearly harmed some of my students. Yes, that's exactly what you should do. Or, if you're finding it hard to do that, then you should at least quit guilting people who are trying to protect everyone. And you should leave us alone to cope in the ways we want to, so long as we're not hurting anyone. Which we are not. All right, Natsuki, I take your point. I'll let you guys go do whatever you were going to do.
Nisita goes to the door and opens it. Then she comes back.
Guys, I know you're doing this in part because you want to protect me, but I got all involved with your club like this because I was concerned. I'm really bothered that something potentially really bad happened to you all. There's nothing I can do to help. I would really like to help if I can. It would give me peace of mind. and it's my duty as a teacher. If you feel like you can't let me help because you're concerned about yourselves, then that's fine, and I understand. But if you are worried about protecting me, then don't. Whatever it is, I'm confident that I can take it. And I want to help you, even if it's just by sharing whatever this is. I trust you guys. Just please know that you can trust me too.
Miss Ida leaves.
I feel guilty for lying to her.
It was for a good reason, though.
We should do something else fun to take our minds off this. We can't just mope around. We're supposed to be here to have fun and relax. So let's reset the energy. It's fun time again now. The Vice President of the Literature Club commands it.
More catchphrases.
Oh, you love it. Plus, you have your own catchphrases. You just don't realize it.
Me? What catchphrases do I have?
Ahem. Yes, indeed. Quite. Indeed it is so.
All right, I get it.
Well, shall we head out to do the forbidden secret parts of Plum that reveal the existence of a super reality? Whose house are we going over to today?
I don't think we've been over to mine in a while, and I'd be happy to host.
MC's house it is then. I'll give everyone a ride.
Shotgun.
No shotgun. Shotgun denied. Yuri needs the leg space more. She'll ride in front. And you will have plenty of space to yourself in the back since Yuri and MC will no doubt be happy to get close. Now come on, let's go.
I don't know, isn't MC just as tall as Yuri? Doesn't he also need next space?
Oh, I forgot how cozy your living room is, MC. Other than Sayori, we don't come here that often, do we?
Me and Yuri haven't been here at all before, except for a couple times. Obviously, we're here during our base game routes. Other than that, I've just been here once or twice, I think.
You were here that one time I owed you baking help.
Oh, yeah. I would ask you to help me bake more, but I don't want to make Sayori jealous.
That wouldn't make me jealous. Especially if I got to eat the results of the baking.
Of course you would. But now, speaking of baking, can we get to my mod?
We sure can. I have it all set up. Just remember, everyone, no talking while the mod is running so we don't confuse the game as to who is speaking. And here we go.
Baking with Natsuki 2!
Live before a studio audience, which very probably does not really exist in any meaningful way. It's Baking with Natsuki.
2!
Yes, Baking with Natsuki 2. And here's your host, Natsuki.
Hello again, baking buddies in the place to be. My name, as always, is Natsuki, and you are tuned in to Baking with Natsuki.
Oh, that's what the audience said.
That's right. Let's start by having me introduce my special assistant for the day. Yuri and I had irreconcilable creative differences for today's episode.
I am not a baking thrall.
Silence, baking thrall! So today, I'm joined by our substitute co-host, Sayori. Everyone give her a big hand.
Hi, Natsuki.
Hi, Sayori. Welcome to the show.
Wait, hang on. When I was the co-host, you made me wear my uniform. Why is it that I'm not even allowed to speak? Why is it that Sayori gets to wear just normal clothes?
Anyway, let's get down to business.
I see that we're here at. All right. I see that we're here at the grocery store today, Natsuki. Why is that?
To get ingredients, of course, silly. Today I wanted to make a point about how important ingredients are in baking. A lot of people think that fresh ingredients don't matter so much in baking. They think, oh, I'm just going to put all this stuff in a bowl and bake it anyway. And they think trashy ingredients will be fine. And this recipe we're going to do today even gets frozen at multiple points, so you might be tempted to think you can get lazy. But you can't. If you put garbage into something you bake, you'll get garbage out of it. So it's important to use fresh, high-quality ingredients wherever you can. Especially where the cost difference to get something really good and fresh is really minimal, like it is with this recipe.
Yeah, what is today's recipe, Natsuki?
Today's recipe is lemon pastries. These little suckers are deliciously sweet and tart, and they keep super well. You can freeze them constantly, no problem. I actually prefer to eat them straight out of the freezer, and I like to put a little signature Natsuki kick on them, but we'll get to that. First, let's take a look at our shopping list here today to see what ingredients we'll need. If you would be so kind, Sayori, period, comma, I am going to do a little bit of personal shopping.
Of course. Let's see. So, for equipment, Natsuki says you need a normal baking pan, the kind with walls on the side, not the totally flat kind. The usual 9x13-inch pan works. And you'll need a bunch of aluminum foil and some non-stick cooking oil spray. But Natsuki already has all that stuff. But she also has written here, blowtorch optional.
Trust me, guys, you'll want the cooking blowtorch if you can get it.
So let's get on to the actual ingredients. Okay, so we'll need a teaspoon of salt, 2 sticks of butter, a large amount of powdered sugar. I like the sound of that.
You'll need a cup to actually make the pastry, but lots more than that to just drizzle over the finished product. So make sure you have enough, viewers.
3 total cups of regular flour, a quarter cup of cornstarch. Hey Natsuki, what exactly is cornstarch anyway?
I mean, it's basically what it sounds like. It's the starch part of a kernel of corn. To make it, they soak a bunch of corn kernels, separate out the meaty bit of the corn kernel, and grind it down and then wash it off to get the starch. In baking, it can be really useful to chicken and to make a pastry look a little silkier and more glistening than if you had just used flour. So it's a perfect fit for our lemon bars here.
Thanks, Natsuki. We'll also need 6 eggs, 3 cups of normal sugar in addition to the powdered sugar, and about 6 fresh lemons.
And don't you dare try to substitute bottled lemon juice or something. This is what I was talking about earlier. You're really going to want the fresh ingredients here. After all, these are lemon pastries. If the lemon part sucks, the whole thing's gonna suck. Now, do we have everything we need, Seal?
We sure do.
Well then, let's take it all to the front to pay for it, and then we can get started baking.
But Natsuki!
That's right, Sayori.
Oh wait, Natsuki, how are we going to pay for this stuff? I don't have any money.
Just with a touch of what I like to call baking show magic, Sayori. Otherwise known as Monica's credit card. Oh, don't fret, Monica. This is a super cheap recipe. All this stuff together won't cost you more than $20 at most.
Wow, that's a budget anyone can work with, even a super cheap penny pincher like myself.
Indeed it is, Monica. Indeed it is. And I appreciate the genuine enthusiasm you put into the script. Unlike some people, all people are enthusiastic when you write more believable lines. Anyway, let's go check out Sayori.
With pleasure.
Wait, why are we at my house? Well, since you are not meeting your contractual obligations by appearing in this episode, I have decided that your contribution today is your kitchen. It has a nice homey feel, you know. Perfect for a baking show. I guess. On with the show. Let's get started on making the crust for this pastry. Alright, so get a big bowl, or if you want to use a food processor to mix, the bin of the processor. Sayori is going to use a food processor because having her mix something by hand would probably be bad.
It sure would.
So put 1 3/4 cups of flour, the cornstarch, and a cup of the powdered sugar into your bowl and get it mixed up.
On it.
Once you've given that a rough mix, get out your baking tray and line it with aluminum foil. Make sure you press the foil in tight. You don't want the crust seeping into cracks and stuff. Make that foil really nice and smooth. Then, once you've done that, grease it up by spraying it down with your sprayable cooking oil. Now let's go back to our bowl full of stuff. All set, Sayori?
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to add the butter to the bowl. Put it in there, hopefully not super refrigerator cold. Give it like a couple of minutes to warm up, but it doesn't have to be room temperature. And just give it a rough mix to make sure the big clumps of butter get incorporated. It doesn't have to be as smooth as sand or anything, just make sure you get rid of the big chunks of butter.
Get the little pieces down to no more than pebble sized, let's say, with kind of a mealy consistency.
Done!
Wow, you, have some energetic stirring power there.
I'm energetic in everything!
Now that we've got our crust mixture done, we want to pour it into our greased up foil tray. Now this is where we need to get more careful. We want it in a nice, even, consistent layer all the way across. And we want to build up little walls on the sides of the pan, maybe 3/4 of an inch high. Not too high or they'll fall over. But if you do them too short, you won't be able to contain the lemony goodness that's coming. So yeah, stick to 3/4 of an inch. And once you're happy with your nice, even layer of crust, put the whole pan in the fridge. You're going to want to let it cool down for at least like 45 minutes or so, but not more than an hour. As it's coming out of the fridge, get your oven preheated to about 175 degrees Celsius, also known as 350 Fahrenheit or gas mark 4. And put that crust in there for about 15 minutes, or maybe a couple more minutes if you think it's not done yet. It should have that sexy, delicious brown golden crust color that all good pastry has when it's ready. Anyway, we didn't prep a finished crust ahead of time, so I must once again ask Monica to do a sick time warp for us. With just a transition or something this time, please. I always get sick when you speed it up.
You got it!
Extreme baking transition commencing.
And we're back, and miraculously, Sayori did not burn Yuri's house down.
Yay!
Hooray. Now, on to the next step, our lemony filling. For this, you're going to need another big bowl. Put all the eggs, your 3 cups of regular sugar, and your flour in there. Take your lemons and use a fine grater to get a couple of tablespoons of lemon zest and put it in there.
But Natsuki, line. But Natsuki, what is? Oh, right. But Natsuki, what is lemon zest?
Great question, Natsuki.
Great question, Natsuki.
I think that's a perfect question for Monica to answer with Monica's Natsuki's baking tip of the day.
Okay, everyone. Obviously, a lemon has skin, but only part of that skin is considered the zest of the lemon. Specifically, the zest is the bright yellow part on the very outside. Inside of that, you get the white part of the rind, called the pith, which is a gross part and not what you want. The outer bright yellow zest, however, is very bright flavored and lemony. It works great to add freshness in a lot of situations, not just lemon-based recipes like this one. To get a really good zest, make sure you wash the lemon first to get rid of any dirt or other grossness on the outside. Then get out whatever tool you're going to use. You can use a vegetable peeler for this if you want, or there are special zesting tools. But a normal grater works fine. Just make sure you use the smaller, finer holes or you'll get cut too much off at once. Gently go around the sides of the lemon with the grater at a shallow angle, and be sure not to hit the same spot on the lemon's whites or you'll get the pith. You'll know you're doing it right if all the peel you get is bright yellow. And that's Monica's Natsuki's baking tip of the day.
Thank you, Monica. Are we all set, Sayori?
Yup. I even managed to get a lemon peel to be bright yellow like Monica told us.
Alright, let's put that in the bowl with our eggs, sugar, and flour. The last thing we need to do, or to add to this mix, is lemon juice. But don't just use bottled lemon juice or I will snip your heel tendons.
Which you have very convenient access to.
No one asked you, baking thrall. Anyway, juice your 6 lemons and put the fresh juice into the bowl. Make sure you avoid getting any pulp or seeds into the bowl, obviously. Once the juice is in there, mix it up with a whisk really, really good. Make absolutely sure you get rid of those clumpy flour chunks. We want a smooth mixture. And you should try to make sure this mixture is ready to go by the time the crust is done with its first bake. The instant the crust is ready with its golden brown deliciousness, pour your lemon mixture into it. You can give it a gentle little shake or two to make sure it settles into the crust nice and flat. Then put it right back into the oven for about a half hour, or maybe a couple minutes more, depending on your oven. If you would be so kind, Monica.
Very convincing time transition. You find this compelling.